Hello and welcome to another episode of MacStories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees and I've got Federico Vitici with me. Hey, Federico.
Oh, hello, John. How are you?
Oh, been up to no good. I think we've both been up to no good.
That is true. We've been committing crimes with automation and video games and weird USB accessories.
Yeah, crimes against automation. It's definitely been a fun week. It's been a very strange week. I've got a little something up my sleeve that I'm going to talk about more later once I get a chance to write it up for Club MacStories. But I
You've
think
done something. I'm gonna say you've done something very strange. So, but
very
we'll see.
strange. But I think
Very John. You've done something that
Yes.
is so you.
it's
yes.
very me, and it's also I think if you have an open mind, it's potentially a very compelling automation setup. That's my teaser. But I wanted to talk more about some of the HomeKit stuff I'm doing and
HomeKit. Okay.
Yeah, and the strategy I'm taking, because one of the things that drives me a little bananas sometimes about HomeKit is if you don't kind of tend to your HomeKit garden, things kind of become unresponsive.
This is a metaphorical garden. By
It
the way.
is metaphorical. It's
okay.
like your PKM. It's like your digital garden, but it's very specific.
But
digital
it's your
garden.
HomeKit. Okay,
It's your
so
HomeKit garden.
I guess what you're saying, it's like Zettelkasten for home automation.
It
right?
is. It is.
Yes. Okay.
And if you leave the stuff alone, batteries run out, things become unresponsive, firmware needs to be updated. There
True.
is a bit of a, there's a chore that goes along with HomeKit and any smart home system of keeping it up and making sure it's running and doing so well. And so I had kind of let mine fall by the wayside for a little while, and I've decided to kind of dive back in. And the way I've decided to do it in order to kind of to make it not too overwhelming is to tackle it floor by floor in my house. And I'm starting with the first floor because I have like a ceiling light that isn't working properly. It's a hue bulb that wasn't working properly. I have some door sensors that seem to have just disappeared. I think the batteries died, little things like that. And just take like a half an hour to an hour here and there, fix those things, make sure they're working properly, think about ways I might want to automate those, and then work my way up the stack. Because actually, as you rise up in my house, there are fewer HomeKit devices. So we have 3 floors, and I have the most things on the first floor where my office is, fewer on the living room kitchen level, and even fewer up in the bedroom floor on the 3rd floor. And so I've been working on that. I've been doing a little bit on the first floor lately. The other thing that I have added that I thought would be worth mentioning here, and it'll probably be part of my next update to our office setups, because I'm using this in my office as well as throughout the house, are some Casa smart plugs.
Okay.
And I have got a bunch of these because I realize that I have a lot of devices that could benefit from me being able to remotely turn them on and off, either using my phone or using an automation. And they also do like power usage tracking. And I was just curious, how much power is each of these devices using? There are certain things that I can't really change a lot. Like, I don't know, I'm not going to stop making coffee in the morning because it uses electricity. But I was curious, how much does the coffee pot use in the morning? And I've been testing that and just seeing what's going on there. So I don't know. I've mostly used those Casa plugs to do things like turn on a charger late at night to charge up batteries that I've used during the day, things like that, lights, other things.
That's cool. My HomeKit setup has been running. I gotta say now, obviously I don't want to jinx it, but it's been running so smoothly over the past couple of years. And I know that that's in large part because like I got everything wired as much as possible.
Right.
I rely on as few wireless devices as I can.
Yeah, that's smart.
I've been using the same Philips Hue bridge, the 2nd generation one, for like 10 years at this point.
Yeah, I've had mine a long time too.
It's been so rock solid. Like, shout out to that. Like, I remember that I was upset at the time when I had to upgrade from the Gen 1 bridge to the Gen 2. I was like, they want me to shell out again for another bridge. But then it's been like a decade that I've been using this new one. And I mean, shout out to you for actually, keeping their promise that this thing has gotten software updates over the years. I use it for HomeKit. I use it for Google Home. It totally works.
I think it probably helps you a little bit too that you live on a single floor, whereas one of the problems I have is being on 3 floors because you get more walls and floors and stuff that I have to deal with.
This will probably be something for MacStories Weekly.
Uh-huh.
So something that I spent some time doing today is all right. So let me explain this, okay? John, are you or is Jennifer at all familiar with the reality TV show that is called in America Love Island?
I'm familiar with it, but I don't think either one of us have watched it.
All right, cool. So Love Island, the format is called Temptation Island in Italy. Right? Same idea. Right. Yeah. You got these couples.
Is that the show that had that great meme where there was that clip of that guy?
Oh, yeah, man. That's the Spanish one, though. That's the Spanish one. Montoya, por favor. Montoya, por favor.
That's what I was thinking.
It is amazing that you are familiar with that meme. They ended up together, right?
Really? It's such a good meme.
And she's pregnant. She's pregnant now with Montoya. That's an incredible story. There should be a link in the show notes for people who have no idea what we're talking about. Anyway,
such a good one.
the new edition of Temptation Island is starting tonight, and so we wanted to be able to watch the program on outside, but I don't have a TV antenna outside. And so what I think I'm going to end up doing is I probably have it right here. I have, from many years ago, I purchased, let me see if I can show it without making a mess. I purchased a few years ago an HD home run.
Oh yeah, I've got one of those.
TV decoder. And I never used it. Like I stuck it in a box saying, well, it'll be useful eventually. When we will want to have TV on the balcony, it's going to be useful. In fact, I had it.
Federico, that box is how you have watched American TV because I have one of those too. That's how that's what I used to pipe it over the internet. Yeah.
I was so prepared that I even had a UK adapter in the box ready to go and an Ethernet cable in the box. I was like, I'm going to put it here. It's going to be useful eventually. Turns out it was useful today.
Nice.
I think what we're going to do, I'm going to set up. Right now, it's all going to be temporary because I haven't done any cable management.
Yeah.
But what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to set up the HD home run.
Yeah.
I've done all the firmware upgrades, all the things. And I am going to use my MacBook with an external display outside because we don't have a TV, we don't have an antenna, but we have Wi-Fi. So I am gonna stream the HD home run with my MacBook connected to an external display outside. And eventually this setup will probably be a little more permanent, a little more official, but it's gonna work for tonight because we set it up last minute.
Yeah.
I tried to do this with an iPad. Right? I figured, well, if I can have an iPad, just tuck it behind the external monitor outside, it's going to be a little more elegant than a MacBook. The iPad, both with the HD Home Run app and the Channels app, whether you're using iPadOS 18 or iPadOS 26 beta, there's some weirdness going on with those video apps when you connect to an external display, both with Stage Manager enabled and disabled. DRM protection kicks in and doesn't let you watch your HD home run video stream on an external display.
You have DRM protected. You have DRM protected over the air.
Didn't think it must look. I think it's a bug with iPadOS because because iPadOS thinks there's DRM protection. The moment I switched to my MacBook Pro and I plugged in my MacBook Pro, I was like, totally fine. I'm just gonna let you watch TV on the external display. So some weird iPadOS bug that affects both the official HD Home Run app as well as Channels.
Yeah.
But whatever, I set it up. So Yeah, you should watch Love Island, John. You should.
I should watch the
It's good
Italian
to.
version. Maybe that's how I could learn Italian. Is just watching
Oh, I'm
reality
sure you
TV.
will. I'm sure you will. All right, what you got for me in terms of picks, John?
All right. So my pick this week is a Netflix show. Well, it's not actually a Netflix show. I think it's an NBC show that ran from 2015 to 2020 called Blindspot. And this is a crime thriller about the FBI, where the whole setup of this is that there's a woman who shows up in a bag, naked,
Hmm.
tattooed from head to toe. And
Hmm.
it's a mystery. And they call her Jane Doe. And it turns out that her tattoos are clues to solving crimes, clues to solving mysteries. Now, this show was on for, like I said, 5 years on NBC, but it's really, really picked up since it was added to Netflix just last month. And we started watching it, and we watched several episodes one weekend. And we thought, boy, there are a lot of episodes. What's going on here? We looked. There are 23 episodes per season, and there are 5 seasons. There is a lot of Blindspot to be watched. What's really cool about it, I think, is that it has a little bit of an X-Files vibe to it, in that there's like this overarching conspiracy and mystery about who this Jane Doe woman is, why she ended up embedded in the FBI. There's, like some evil forces in the background. You don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are. Are the bad guys the FBI, or are they the good guys? Is she undercover for the Russians? There's all kinds of conspiracies in the background, but each episode is solving a single crime, and with the help of one of the tattoos on her body, which usually involves solving some sort of puzzle. And so it's got this puzzle element, this conspiracy element, and a lot of action. So, and plus, it's a great binge show for the summer, because if you really just want a lot of TV in the background, this is a pretty good one. Because one of the things I've been doing, we talked a little bit about HomeKit and automation at the top of the show. I've been doing a lot of stuff, working on a lot of shortcuts and other things on my MacBook Pro, and I'll be sitting on the couch at night, just kind of fiddling around with my shortcuts, but also watching this show, because it's not one of those shows that you necessarily have to see every single minute of. You can skip a couple of episodes and still kind of know what's going on. It's kind of good in that way, just as kind of a filler entertainment thing for the summer. And that makes it, that I don't mean to kind of put it down that way. It really is actually a pretty good show overall. Though once we got through the first 23 episodes in season 1, we decided to take a break because it was an awful lot of one show, and we're going to watch some other things and then maybe revisit Blindspot season 2 a little later this summer.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Switch 2 this week.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it more on NPC. I've been up to my usual experiments, as you can imagine. I want to recommend some games. I've been playing a lot more of Mario Kart World, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think I hate the new Grand Prix mode as much as a lot of people do. I get the complaints. And especially, like, I do think it's kind of odd. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't hate it. I understand the complaints, though. Like the fact that in the new Grand Prix, only the first track in the Grand Prix is a proper like 3 lap around the same course, like old school. But then the other 3 tracks are like driving to the following track, and then you have a single lap around it, basically.
Right.
Like I understand the complaints. I don't hate it because I think it's still weird and different enough to be fun. But yeah, I'm almost done completing all of the cups in 50cc, so I'll be moving up to 100cc pretty soon. And yeah, I haven't done any free roam. I haven't done any knockout this week. I've just been doing the Grand Prix with the cow. I love playing as the cow. I gotta say,
is the cow good? Is it a good character for the like? What?
It's got weight. It's got weight.
Yeah.
So when you bump into other characters, like it helps sort of push them off, because of your added weight. It's a good character. I mean, really, Mario Kart. They don't really make a difference unless you're
they
really
don't make
playing.
a big difference. I play as Mario a lot myself.
Yeah, I mean it's the basic
Maybe that's
one.
a little
It's good
boring,
enough.
but I like Mario and he has some cool cars. So
yeah, I look forward to being able to play as King Boo. I want to play as King Boo with the crown. I want to give a shout out to another game that I've been playing a lot, which is sort of like a like a silent hit of the
Mm-hmm.
Switch 2 lineup. That's Fast Fusion. I
Oh, I read about
this
this.
is a $15 game that looks like a AAA game. So
Yeah.
imagine like Wipeout or F-Zero. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a racing game where you're controlling this spaceship basically that sort of hovers on the track, and you go really fast. And by really fast, I mean when you play Fast Fusion and then you switch back to Mario Kart World at 50cc,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so slow. Like switching back and forth, like Fast Fusion is fast. What I appreciate about this game is that it's using all of the latest technologies of the Switch 2 to like
Yeah.
increase the resolution, make sure the performance is good, like play at 4K when you dock the Switch 2. It looks great. The art direction is maybe a little bit generic. It's not like it's inventing this revolutionary graphical style,
Yeah.
but it looks good enough, and it plays fast, and it's responsive, and it feels good. And it's got like a couple of unique twists on the classic F-Zero or Wipeout formula that I appreciate. For
Mm-hmm.
example, you can jump in this game,
Oh, nice.
and it makes a big difference, especially when you're trying to combine boosting and jumping together, and when you can do these long jumps and sort of fly over the other spaceships. It's very cool. And also it's got this unique mechanic where your ship can switch between two phases. There's the blue phase and the red phase, and you switch with a button. Like your ship actually changes color, and that's important because you're gonna find these boost areas, like
Mm-hmm.
these strips of red color or blue color. And if you're of the matching color, you're gonna get a boost. But
Okay.
if your spaceship is red and you go on a blue boost, you're gonna be slowed down.
Oh, interesting.
Basically, it kind of plays like a mix of a racing game, of a really fast racing game, and a rhythm game. Because of this colored boost, the tracks look like a song in Guitar Hero, for example, right?
Right.
And learning the pattern of like, okay, red, blue, jump, blue, red, like it almost becomes this like mental exercise of memorizing the
Right.
track and memorizing the controls. It's really, really, really fun. And
Interesting.
lastly, the game that I think I'm going to talk about on NPC a little bit more, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. I know that Brandon is huge on this game, and I now understand why. I only have a vague recollection of playing the original Fantasy Life on the 3DS back in 2012. I know I did because I also have a physical copy, but this one, so it's the kind of game that is like a mix of Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Very chill vibe. You play as this character who washes up on this island. There's a whole fascinating backstory about you actually trying to be an archaeologist, but your sort of archaeology guide gets lost in this space-time rift, and so you're trying to get back to the guy, but you wash up on this island. And the whole thing about the game is that you're supposed to choose a life for yourself. So essentially, a job. You can be a fighting job like a paladin or a mercenary, or you
Mm-hmm.
can be a crafting job, or you can be a magical job like a wizard, or you can do mining. And the thing about this game that is so great is that it combines exploration and Zelda like a top-down Zelda
Okay.
fighting mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
with the fact that you can just explore and gather resources and mine. And all of these things, they sort of reinforce each other, right? Because you can also learn skills from multiple lives and apply them to your character. So for example, you go explore and you fight some enemies, and you collect some money, but then you see, oh, there's also like some ore deposits here. So if
Yeah.
I were to be a mining job, I could come back here, gather some resources, and use those resources to craft a better weapon for myself. So and what I also appreciate is that from the get-go, the game immediately presents you with the main loop, which is you can either follow the main story, or you can get lost in all these quests for
Mm-hmm.
your life. So for the job that you've chosen, you just go to the guild for that life, and you choose a quest, or you can choose a quest from the menu, and you can just knock out multiple quests in a row. And when you do that, you will collect points to increase the rank of your life, which in return enables you to unlock different skills in the skill tree. It sounds complicated. It's really not. The menu is really well designed. And I totally think this is the kind of game for you, John, because knowing you, you appreciate a chill game. Looks great on the Switch too. Make sure that if you get it, make sure that you get the Switch 2 edition because it's got improved performance over the Switch 1. It's like a $3 upgrade or something. And it's got that balance of you can follow the main story or before you hit like a hard limit, there are plenty of side quests that you can do before you decide to advance with the main story again. And all of these quests are not complicated. They're fun. And the game looks like it's very chill. It's got that Dragon Quest vibe of like really good music, really colorful, not stressful, but it's not easy either because especially if you wander into an area with enemies that are higher level than you, they're going to beat you.
They're going to get your butt kicked. Yeah, no, that sounds great. Let me ask you about Fast Fusion. Am I making this up, but did I read that that's a remake or
No, it's like this. It's like the 5th or 6th game in a series that nobody knows about.
Okay,
turns
that's
out
probably what it was.
There was a turns out I think I heard on the besties that it wasn't called Fast Fusion, but like the Fast series was like a launch title on the Wii U even. And then there was one on the Switch, and now there's one on the Switch too. And it's $14.99 on the eShop.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Federico. I think that's it. That is it for this week. We do not have a deal for you this week, but we will have one next week. You can find the two of us over at MacStories.net, and we are on social media. Just look for Federico, where he is at Viticci. That's VITICCI, and I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHEES. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.